BTS arrived in Chicago to continue their BTS World Tour Arirang. The story became much bigger. This time, it was not only ARMY welcoming them. The state of Illinois also offered a special tribute by declaring the concert dates BTS Day in Illinois. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker officially declared August 27 and 28, 2026, as BTS Day in Illinois, coinciding with BTS's two concerts at Soldier Field in Chicago. The recognition became one of the most striking acknowledgments of BTS's enormous influence in the United States, while also showing that their presence is no longer viewed simply as an entertainment event. For Chicago, BTS's arrival had already become a major event since news of their concerts was announced. Soldier Field would become the gathering place for thousands of fans on August 27 and 28. But when the state government joined in honoring them, the atmosphere became even more special. What makes the recognition particularly interesting is that it was not given simply because BTS can fill a stadium. In his statement, Pritzker highlighted how BTS has crossed national boundaries through messages about mental health, self-love, and philanthropy. He also noted that the values promoted by BTS align with Illinois' civic values and have inspired millions of fans around the world to participate in community service and charitable activities. In other words, BTS Day is not simply a celebration of a concert. It is recognition of the impact surrounding BTS and the community they have built together with ARMY. Chicago itself has already shown how powerful that influence can be. Even before the concerts began, the city's atmosphere started to change. Fans from various regions began arriving, community activities were being prepared, and public attention turned toward Soldier Field. The two shows were also reported to be sold out. This is where BTS's influence becomes truly visible. They may arrive with music, but it is not only the music industry that begins to move. Hotels welcome new guests. Restaurants receive additional visitors. Transportation becomes busier. Areas surrounding the venue receive greater attention. Local businesses benefit from fans traveling from different cities and even from outside the United States. One concert ultimately develops into a much broader economic and cultural activity. And this phenomenon is not limited to Chicago. Throughout BTS's journey across North America, different cities have shown their own forms of recognition and welcome. Toronto, for example, designated the weekend of BTS's concerts as BTS Weekend and even temporarily renamed part of a street BTS Boulevard. In Maryland, Governor Wes Moore welcomed BTS through a video featuring Korean text ahead of their Baltimore concerts. Meanwhile, El Paso County in Texas designated the concert period as El Paso BTS Weekend and presented the members with the Estimado Amigo honor. If each of these moments is viewed separately, they might simply look like ordinary forms of welcome. But when they are put together, a very interesting pattern emerges. BTS arrives, people move, ARMY gathers, and governments and local communities begin paying attention. Chicago is now adding a new chapter to that story. The recognition given by Illinois is particularly significant because of its scale. The state government officially designated 2 days as BTS Day. This was not simply a congratulatory sign or a fan campaign, but an official proclamation from the state governor. For ARMY, of course, this feels incredibly meaningful. For years, they have followed BTS's journey from different parts of the world. They have watched Korean language music gradually break into the global market, witnessed BTS perform on some of America's biggest stages, and seen the names of all 7 members become increasingly familiar to international audiences. Now, in Chicago, that influence is receiving a very tangible form of recognition. Even the fans themselves played an important role in bringing this recognition to life. According to WBEZ, the Chicago BTS Army Group, together with the Hana Center, submitted a petition that contributed to the BTS Day campaign. They also promoted the idea of turning parts of downtown Chicago Borahi purple, a color deeply associated with BTS fandom culture. This is one of the most fascinating aspects of the BTS phenomenon. People often discuss BTS's influence by looking at audience numbers, album sales, or song popularity. But perhaps BTS's greatest strength can be seen in their ability to make other people take action. Army moves. Communities move. Businesses move. Governments pay attention. And an entire city feels the atmosphere. In Chicago, fan activities are also scheduled to take place across different areas, including Chinatown and downtown. There were even plans for activities around Buckingham Fountain during the 2 concert days. All of this shows that a BTS concert has evolved into a cultural experience. People do not simply come to watch for a few hours. They come to experience the atmosphere. They meet fellow fans. They share stories. They wear merchandise. They carry light sticks. They create content. And most importantly, they build community. That is one reason why BTS's influence is difficult to measure using numbers alone. BTS has built an incredibly strong emotional connection with ARMY. Their songs speak about a wide range of human experiences. From finding confidence and learning to love oneself to dealing with life's pressures and finding the courage to keep moving forward. Those messages are then carried by fans into their real lives. In the Illinois Proclamation, this became one of the main reasons BTS received the recognition. Pritzker specifically highlighted BTS's contributions to raising awareness about mental health, self-love, and charitable activities. He also recognized how ARMY around the world has been inspired to participate in community service and philanthropic efforts. So when people say that BTS has enormous influence, Chicago provides a very clear example of what that statement actually means. That influence is not only about how loudly the audience sings. It can also be seen in what happens after the music ends. One fan may be inspired to make a donation. Another may join a social initiative. Someone else may begin learning Korean because of their interest in BTS. Others may become more interested in Korean culture. Music becomes the doorway, but its influence can travel in many different directions. And the United States has become one of the most important places in that journey. From one city to another, BTS continues to demonstrate how music can become a bridge between cultures. They bring Korean culture to a much wider audience, while ARMY across America creates spaces where that culture can be welcomed, celebrated, and shared. Chicago is now one of the cities helping to write that story. Interestingly, BTS already has a strong history with Soldier Field. They previously performed at the venue in May 2019 as part of the Love Yourself, Speak Yourself tour, with their 2 shows attended by more than 100,000 fans. Their August 2026 concerts marked BTS's return to Soldier Field after approximately 7 years. There is something particularly special about that journey. 7 years ago, BTS arrived as a group that was expanding its influence in America. Now they are returning to the same place from a much bigger position. And this time, even the state government is saying, "Welcome, BTS." That is what makes BTS Day so special. The recognition does not officially describe BTS as the most influential music group in the world. But the Illinois Proclamation clearly acknowledges the significant social and cultural influence they have created. For BTS, perhaps a concert lasts only a few hours. But for a city, its impact can be felt for days. Hotels fill up. Restaurants become busier. Streets fill with fans. Merchandise sells quickly. Media outlets report on their arrival. And city landmarks become part of the celebration. Even the Willis Tower was scheduled to light up purple during the nights of BTS's concerts on August 27th and 28th. Adding another layer of celebration to the heart of Chicago. Imagine Chicago when night falls. On one side, Soldier Field is filled with thousands of army waiting for the 7 members to take the stage. On the other side, different parts of the city are experiencing the same atmosphere through special lighting, community activities, and fan celebrations. Everything seems connected by one name: BTS. And perhaps this is the simplest way to describe their influence. They do not need to be physically present on every street to make an entire city feel as though it is celebrating something. Their arrival alone can do it. BTS Day also demonstrates the significant change in the way America views BTS and K-pop as a whole. What may once have been considered a musical phenomenon from Asia has now developed into a meaningful part of America's broader cultural conversation. BTS no longer arrives simply as guests from South Korea. They arrive as global artists with strong connections to people in cities across America. Chicago understands that. Illinois understands that. And ARMY has felt it for years. From New York to Los Angeles, from Texas to Maryland, from Toronto to Chicago, every stop has brought a different story. Yet they all share the same common thread. BTS's arrival has the power to connect people from different backgrounds through music and community. Now Chicago has its own moment. On August 27th and 28th, Soldier Field will not simply be a concert venue. It will become the center of a celebration that has already received official recognition from the Illinois government. And when thousands of ARMY bombs light up together, ARMY's voices fill the stadium, and the 7 BTS members stand on stage, it may become even clearer why their journey across America has been so extraordinary. Because BTS does not simply bring a performance. They bring a movement. They bring community. They bring a message. And they bring millions of people along with them. From Toronto to Chicago, the Arirang journey once again demonstrates one thing. The farther BTS travels, the wider the footprint they leave behind. Now Illinois has given its own name to these 2 historic days. BTS Day in Illinois. A tribute born amid ARMY's enthusiasm and a symbol of how music can transcend language, national borders, and cultural boundaries. Chicago may be only one stop on BTS World Tour Arirang. But this time, the city has given BTS something that will forever remain part of their American journey. Not just a packed stadium. Not just sold-out concerts. But an entire state choosing to pause for a moment and honor a music group that has inspired millions of people through music, messages, community, and social action. And when the lights at Soldier Field finally go out, one thing may feel clearer than ever before. BTS did not come to Chicago simply to hold a concert. They came carrying an influence so significant that an entire state chose to celebrate their arrival. Chicago is now part of that story. And for ARMY, BTS Day in Illinois will become another sweet memory of how 7 names from South Korea managed to make an American city sing along, celebrate together, and say, "Welcome to Chicago, BTS."